What's going on? The front three is finally back. Apologize, or really just apologies today. Internet problems with both me and Cookie. Better later than never. We finally have it going, and obviously we have a fantastic guest to kick it off. We have Paris from FIFA Monster. How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? I'm good. I'm great. Just here.
Yeah, do you want to tell them about your channel?
Well, I make comedy and gaming entertainment, so do loads of stuff like pranks and make FIFA videos. Okay, well, now I stopped from FIFA and I do a lot of public stuff and public pranks and stuff. But I'm just a very versatile entertainer, as people like to call it.
Excellent, excellent. Also, we have Cookie. Obviously, tell them about yourself and all that kind of stuff. They should know who you are by now.
Yeah, I've been on there a few times before, working along as a co-host kind of thing now, but mainly appearing on Arsenal Fan TV, my own channel, AFC Game by Game. Follow me on Twitter at @simplycookie_.
Fantastic. Now, this one's just going to be basically solely about United Arsenal. Obviously, we have a United fan and an Arsenal fan in here. So we're going to get right in with that. We'll start with United. Obviously, Falcao, fantastic signing. Daley Blind just signed. Paris, you must be out of your mind right now compared to a couple weeks ago when you started the season and 3 losses and that kind of stuff.
Listen, there's been so many rumors over the past, I don't know how many, I don't know how long the season's been on now, maybe a week or two now, but there's been so many rumors from July, and when the season started, I was like, okay, let me see how United get on so I can maybe see if if we need silence, and we 4-0 to MK Dons did not help, I'll say that. But we literally were struggling. I mean, I had faith in Van Gaal, and that literally, right now I'm in a position of just saying, oh my goodness, like, what do we do? But I still have faith in him, and there's a lot of signings that have been made, and obviously we made the Di Maria signing. I was like, goodness, that is great. That's fucking amazing. Like, we
A
signed
lot
Di
of prove
Maria.
right there. There's a lot of prove right there.
What'd you say?
There's a lot for him to prove right there. Almost
There's a
60 million
lot.
pounds.
There's a
Wow.
lot. 60 million. Like, what can he do? I mean, apparently, he's dubbed to sort of live the Ronaldo sort of name at United with the number 7 shirt and all. So we'll see if he does relive that, you know, that glory, that sort of fame. United fans all around the world are loving the Di Maria signing. You know, he sold a lot of shirts and stuff. We love him. You know, of course we are. I mean, he's a big name signing. I mean, for Real Madrid, we'll take that. I mean, I'll take that as a United fan. We need a winger. We need wingers. Am I allowed to swear?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. we loaned Nani off to wherever he went.
Sporting Lisbon, yeah.
Sporting Lisbon. He can fuck off. He's been shit for a couple years. I love Nani. I mean, I watched Nani for years and I love him. Years ago though, like I loved Nani when he was in his prime, but he's just been shit. He's lost a lot of confidence and he's just dog shit now. So he can fuck off. Who else is there? There's Ashley Young. That guy is bald. He's absolutely shit. So he can fuck off too, but he's still here. So we need wingers. We need a good quality winger. Since Ronaldo left, we just had fucking Valencia, who's a basic winger. He just runs up and just stands there and just does some. He runs up, he cuts in, or he crosses it. It's just basic. So we need really and truly a more advanced midfielder, a really top class midfielder. Sorry, not midfielder, winger. We need a top class winger, and we've got one in Di Maria. So I'm happy that we've got Di Maria. We've got Blint. Funnily enough, don't slate me, but I haven't really seen him what he's done. Like, I haven't watched him anyway, so I'm gonna have to go and do my research in a minute about him. But I'm not really sure apparently he's a left back or left wing back or something.
Yeah, like a defensive midfielder. But I'm gonna stop you right there for a second and I just ask you another question. Out of all the signings you made thus far, and I imagine there'll probably be another one or two before the window's done, what's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
Favorite is Di Maria, man, and least favorite is oh yeah, we just signed fucking what's his name, Falcao, didn't we? Yeah, we're signing Falcao on a loan. I mean, no, my favorite actually it's hard because I have to choose between Falcao and Di Maria now. Them two both have a lot to prove. You know, Falcao, world class.
I think you might want to go with Di Maria. Falcao for me is very risky. There's all that knee injury stuff too. He's had it since his days at River Plate all those years ago too. So there's a bit of risk there, and you're paying a lot. Was it over 300K a week for him too on wages?
Yeah.
Rooney's gonna want to raise.
Rooney, right? Rooney's fucking. Do you know what? He's got a lot to prove as well. To be honest with you, I mean, he's a captain, so Van Gaal obviously has seen some stuff in him that the rest of the world can't see. So, but to be honest with you, my favorite signing and my least favorite signing, will be Di Maria because he's a big midfielder. I mean, winger, and he's needed in the team a lot. And I want to see some flipping skills, man. Our team's been lacking skills, like real skilling and just beating players since like Ronaldo days, man. I want Ronaldo back, but
you want that fear factor back.
Yeah, we want that fear factor. We want people to be scared of us, and you know, since Ronaldo left back in 2007 or 2008, we have been fucked. Like we've had Nani. Nani was good for 2 seasons, and then I don't know where he went. I mean, he just went shitty. So we need that fear factor back, and I can see it in Di Maria. He's played his first game. I mean, we can't judge him off that, can we? We're gonna have to wait till he plays, he gets more confident, gets more comfortable with the team and the formation and the system. So we're gonna have to wait, see where Van Gaal actually fits him in. But my favorite is Di Maria. My least favorite is it would have to be. I can't say nothing about Blint because I don't know much about him. So
I guess you could change it to most underwhelming. I guess because I guess you couldn't really say they're bad or anything like that.
Right. So we could say underwhelming. All right, cool. Underwhelming. It would be definitely Rojo.
Okay. Cookie, we're gonna get you. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I'm not really sure about Rojo. That's all. I haven't really seen him play. He's apparently Argentine. He's friends with Di Maria. Apparently Argentinian. Argentinian teammates. But I haven't really seen anything about him, so I'm not really excited about him. I want to see what he has to offer.
Yeah, and we're just gonna get Cookie involved here in a second. So we're gonna move on to Danny Welbeck, the whole Danny Welbeck Arsenal link, loan, permanent deal, all that kind of stuff. Cookie, what's your thought on that? Do you think it's going to happen? Is it true? What's your thought?
Well, obviously, Sky Sports have literally just come out and said that Danny Welbeck, he didn't actually have a medical at Arsenal, but I seem to remember when they said a similar thing a couple of years ago about Arteta, and then he signed right at the last minute. But with Danny Welbeck, it's a panic buy. Absolutely no shadow of a doubt, it's a panic buy. He's not going to be someone that we monitored closely all summer. I personally have no idea why we haven't gone for someone like Remy. Welbeck, he's young. He's 23. Someone that is a kind of a proven international in some respects. He's had an okay World Cup. He's actually one of those United players that he's not someone I'm going to slate heavily because, like I said, he's young. He's a real workhorse as well. He'll give absolutely everything for his side, but. I don't know. I think it's too little, too late, really. I mean, we need a striker, but we're only getting Welbeck, quite frankly, because Giroud's out for so long. We still need a defensive midfielder. We need another centre back because what if something happens to Mertesacker and Koscielny? Chambers will come in, but then what if something was to happen to Debussy? We haven't got right back cover. So I'm actually really concerned at the moment. And with 2.5 hours to go in the transfer window, our squad is looking even lighter than it was at this point. I mean, we brought Sanchez in. That's fantastic. But then again, Wenger said Sanchez is going to be Arsenal's striker. He said, I bought him to come in here and play as a striker. But yesterday at Leicester, we saw that piss-poor performance from Yaya Sanogo. And why is Sanchez out on the wing if he's meant to be our striker? What's going on there? I mean, Wenger said we were going to be really active today. I'm guessing you've got to pray that something's going to happen in the last 2.5 hours if you're a Gooner. But, it's... Danny Welbeck, he'd be a good buy, but like I said, it would be a massive panic.
And we're just going to keep with Arsenal for a second. If you can answer this as best and as quick as possible, which signings do you believe you truly missed out on this summer? Obviously, so many teams are linked with a numerous amount of players. Which one do you think you really missed out on if you don't sign somebody?
Remy. Plain and simple, Remy. Simply because he doesn't have the wages that someone like Falcao does, and you're not going to find a player around his age and his ability for a fee of 8 million. That is an absolute steal for a guy of his quality. And he's gone to Chelsea, where he's going to sit on the bench and going to play second fiddle to the likes of Drogba and Diego Costa. He'd have been perfect for Arsenal. He'd have been our first choice striker at the time as Giroud's out, and in my opinion, he could have been a better player than Giroud. But I think we've massively missed out there. It wouldn't have been a big investment for us. And then apparently we were scraping the bottom of the barrel when we went in to go for Falcao, but we turned him down because of those 350 grand a week wages, which I don't blame them for. But why aren't we going in for players like Remy much earlier? We should have gone in for Remy a couple of months ago. We knew we needed a striker, even if Giroud hadn't got injured. We need a backup because Yaya Sanogo, I don't want to lay into him particularly because he shouldn't be in the kind of situation where he's having to carry the Arsenal spearhead the team. But it's ridiculous how we're relying on a 21-year-old, or Wenger is stating that we can put wingers such as Walcott, Podolski, Campbell, all in that central role, when we know that players like that just fade away and we're not getting the best out of them as well. It's ridiculous in my opinion. And how we've just let Remy slip through our fingers when we've had the whole summer to activate that 8 million release clause, it's not good enough.
Okay, now I'm just going to do one similar question, but obviously for both of you. Last few hours of the transfer window, Paris, who do you think you're going to sign?
Well, I'll be honest with you. We've signed Falcao, we've signed and we've signed Di Maria too, and we've signed Blint. So we'll obviously we'll put through the Falcao deal. He's doing his medical now. Blint got put through, and we're not gonna get Vidal. We're not gonna get any of these other players. It would have to be being done now. So we're gonna sign Falcao. That's about it. That'll be the last player.
Would you take, say, an underwhelming, say, mid-Premier League kind of player as like your last signing if it just meant as like a squad rotation player? Just to fill in there for experience or something like that.
What, just a random, sorry, say that again? I didn't.
So like say like a random designated player, kind of just a squad player, someone with Premier League experience, just to help out for a season, something like for instance, how Gareth Barry went to Everton on season loan or something like that. Would you take someone like that?
Yeah, easily. We would. I just want to know that as long as I'll be honest with you, as long as Van Gaal has faith in him. I mean, I'm gonna obviously have to agree with it. I mean, that's his decision. I mean, and the people he signed, I see the way he's going. He's doing well. He's going in the right direction with the team. He wants an attacking style play. He signed Falcao, even though we fucking need a better defense, right? I mean, we haven't seen Rojo play. We haven't seen Luke Shaw play, and we've got Blint, but we needed to replace that Vidic figure in our team. People were saying that Blint will do that, but we lost a lot of experience when we let Ferdinand, Vidic, and Evra go when they went. We lost a lot of experience, so we need more experience in our defense, and I think we're lacking that. We're playing Tyler Blackett. I mean, he was playing in under 21s a couple of seasons ago. Even last season he was playing in under 21s, and we're playing him in the first team because we have no other option. Everyone's injured. Maybe Johnny Evans, maybe he can provide that experience that we need, but I think we need a better defense. Yeah, we signed some good players. That's about it,
Now, you brought up the whole defensive error, and there's obviously still issues back there because there really hasn't been a dominant center back figure that's been brought in as of really yet that's been notable. Where do you think you can finish at the end of the season? Obviously, it's only a few weeks in and all that kind of stuff, but with these signings, where do you think optimistically you can finish?
Optimistically, we can finish. I reckon the lowest we will finish this season will be 4th. That's the lowest. That's the lowest. There's absolutely no way we are finishing lower than 4th. And personally, I think we can. I don't think we're comparing our team to Chelsea. Because I think Chelsea's the strongest right now in the Premier League. Right now, their squad is the strongest with Jose Mourinho. Their team is the strongest, so I'll go for them as title contenders. But for us, I don't think we're there yet. We need a good couple more years. So I think that Manchester United will finish maybe 2nd or 3rd. but the lowest is 4th. And if we finish any lower, then that's a fail. That's a failed season, 100%.
Okay, now Cookie, we're gonna come to you. Last few hours of the transfer window, who realistically do you want to sign? And same as Paris, with the signings you made, where do you think you'll optimistically and realistically kind of finish?
Well, looking at players that we could sign, I mean, the amount of names that are flying around at the moment. Royce is flying around again, Cavani's there and thereabouts. We're not going to get any of them, quite frankly. I think we could end up with someone in that defensive midfield position, such as, I don't know, someone like Kondogbia, which, he's a good player, someone I'd be happy with. But as a striker, it could be Welbeck, but honestly, with Arsenal, it's incredibly hard to predict who we're going to get. We're like a fart in the wind with some of these transfers. Like 1 minute it looks all destined to be done, and the next it's just completely gone. I reckon it's going to really hot up after 9 o'clock. But that question you asked about where I realistically think we'll finish, I think with the signings United have made, they look like they're going for the kind of approach where they don't seem to be bothered too much about the defensive side of things. They're just going with the approach that we're going to score more goals than you, therefore we're going to get the points and we're going to win the game. Falcao, Van Persie, Rooney, even Mata, Di Maria, those players are going to guarantee them goals, and they're going to be having some big wins this season. But I think it's a real question of whether they'll gel or not. Well, I honestly think if you don't come in the top 4 this season after spending 150 million, that's embarrassing. You've got to get in the top 4 now. I mean, you look at us and you think, hang on, if we're not going to have a striker for 5 months until January, then how are we going to get our goals? Because we had 24 attempts against Leicester, and then we've got no one to put them in the back of the net. And then in that defensive midfield issue, we've got Flamini, Arteta, both going into their 30s now. Neither of them can really keep up with the pace of the game. Flamini leaves gaping holes in our midfield. The thing with United is, though, they don't strike me as the most complete squad. Chelsea strike me as that because they've got the ideal player in every single position, followed by a really proven backup. I mean, they were able to bring on John Obi Mikel the other day, and they've got players like Matic out there. They've got an absolutely fantastic squad at their disposal, and quite frankly, they've got to win the league with the players they brought in. Be embarrassing if they don't. But realistically, as it stands, I think we'll finish 4th. I don't think we can get any higher because, quite frankly, the players we've brought in, Chambers, Ospina, Debuchy, forget like them being additions because they're replacements. They're replacements for Vermaelen. They're replacements for Fabianski, and quite frankly, that's not really good enough. The only proper addition you can say we brought to our squad this season is Alexis Sanchez, and arguably he's a player that we don't particularly need because we've got Walcott and Chamberlain accommodating that right-hand side. I mean, maybe when Walcott's back, he might play in that striking role. We'll see Sanchez on the left-hand side or something, but we still need players, and it is looking panicky at the moment. I'm just really hoping that we'll get someone in because I don't want it to be another 4th battle again. I want to be saying that I'm going into this season optimistic that we can put in a sustainable title challenge, and it's just so annoying being an Arsenal fan because every single season we're going in 2 or 3 players short. Every season it happens. It's ridiculous, really.
You guys haven't spent anything in. Do you reckon that the reason for Wenger not spending is because he believes that, he seems to believe in some crazy world that his squad's okay? Do you reckon he believes that his squad's okay, or because I know you guys have got the funding easily?
I think he's stuck in the past, really.
I think the problem is, right, we're sitting on top of, 100 million, because realistically, when you put it into perspective, the money we've accumulated from players that have left the club, the likes of Vermaelen, we got money from the Carlos Villa deal as well as the Cesc Fabregas one. We've accumulated about 30 million from that, and then about another 30 million from qualifying for the Champions League. So we've kind of only spent about 6 million realistically this summer. So we've still got loads of money that we're sitting on. And the fact is, Wenger has got too much faith in players that he believes will succeed in this club. Evidently, Sanogo isn't ready to step up to the plate yet. He should be learning behind other players who have the ability to score goals week in, week out. Players like Arteta, Flamini, I know how much he respects Arteta, and in my opinion, Arteta was a quality player, but he can't keep up with the pace of the game anymore. He's still a true leader. I can understand why he's been given the captaincy, but we have no presence in our team, and that's the other thing I read up as well. We've got an average height of 5'7". What's going on there? I mean, against Leicester, it's not that we played badly. It's just that we're not as physical as them. I mean, you know, these teams have got massive players, and they don't give us any time on the ball because the likes of Cazorla, Ozil, they're muscled off it so easily. I mean, in respect, we've got some absolute pansies in that team, and we need players like a presence like Vieira. You look 10 years ago, you know, I remember like people like Roy Keane saying that you'd go and play Arsenal and you'd have massive presences standing next to you in the tunnel and you'd fear them. But we don't really have that at the moment. We've got very small, tactical, fast, nimble players, which isn't a bad thing. But when you're coming up against Leicester away or Stoke away, for God's sake, God, I'm terrified of that game. You know, it's going to be really difficult for us because we're just going to get out-muscled, and you know, that's our real problem at the moment.
So,
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go on.
is there any? So, okay, cool. You say you don't have big players, tall players in physique. Do you reckon Falcao will be one of those, you know, big in physique players for Man United? Do you reckon he'll offer that? Because I know, obviously, we've got Van Persie. He's a big, tall player. I mean, he can get the ball down. He can get the ball from God knows how high and strike it. Do you reckon Falcao's that sort of player? Do you reckon he'll utilize Falcao as that, you know, guy up on his own? Sometimes maybe play him in a 4-5, play him in a 4-5-1 formation, and just get balls to him. Do you reckon that'll be the case?
Yeah.
No,
Like,
I don't think Falcao is going to be a particular target man for you. I don't think he's going to be one of those players that you whip balls into the box, because if you've watched some of the stuff he's done for Atletico Madrid, he creates something out of nothing. He is an absolutely phenomenal player. I mean, in my opinion, United have got the second best striker in the world on their hands after Luis Suarez, because he is absolutely incredible. And the gamble that United have taken is on his knee and that injury he sustained. But I think, you know, I watched him in the Emirates Cup, and he is an incredible player. He can jump incredibly high in the air. He's not the shortest of blokes, but like you said, you wanted skill in your team. This is kind of the ideal guy for that. He does chips, volleys, the stuff he does. You know, you wouldn't even. How dare he attempt the kind of things he does, because it's just so ludicrous how good he is. He's a really phenomenal player, but you know, he's not particularly pacey as well. He's the kind of guy that could go on till he's about, you know, the kind of Ibrahimovic player where he could go on till he's about 32, 33 and still be an absolute world-class talent. I think he's quality.
Yeah, because his pace is not his main attribute. He don't need pace to do the stuff he does, right?
No, I mean, if you look at that goal he got against Chelsea in the Super Cup, I think it was, he just stood off the defenders and just curled it past Czech. He's a sublime finisher, and like I said, he'll create something out of nothing. He's a top talent you've got, and he offers an alternative. You've got three very different strikers now. You've got Rooney, Van Persie. Van Persie apparently is having an operation though, so that's another reason why Falcao was supposedly brought in. But you've got three very different and very prolific strikers now. But Rooney, of course, has to up his game in a moment. But it's really exciting to be a Man United fan at the moment.
would you say that fear factor, I wouldn't say completely, but would that fear factor somewhat be back in the sense of an attacking threat?
Well, if you look at how United have played the past couple of games, then no, because quite frankly, they've been diabolical. But these kind of players that they brought in, Di Maria, they're going to bring pace and energy. And, you know, you look at their team on paper, no one's going to want to come up against a team that can boast Van Persie, Falcao, Mata, Di Maria. That's a terrifying team to play. But the fact is, these players have got to organise themselves as a unit. Otherwise, if they're individuals, it's never going to work. Because you have got quite a few selfish players in there, the likes of Di Maria. Although saying that, he did have one of the most top assists in Europe, so maybe that's not entirely correct. But these players do have to come together. That's the gamble you've taken. You made a lot of signings. They have to come together, work as a team. That's where I think you've got an excellent man in Van Gaal to bring them all together. But I think I would be worried about playing United at the moment. But like I said, they do have to up their game. It's going to be really interesting to see how all these players are going to be accommodated, because I don't know really where Di Maria is going to play. I think if he plays as a wing back, which, you know, United line up in his 3-5-2, it doesn't really strike. I think he's going to be wasted in that position. The same goes with Rooney playing in that centre attacking midfield position. He doesn't work there either. So effectively, you brought in all these quality players, but then you're either going to have to be dropping some of them, or, you know, playing people out of position. And especially with Mata as well, where's he going to work in his team? Let's not forget he cost United £38 million, and he's on massive wages. A lot of expectation from him, and quite frankly, things have gone quiet on his behalf because, you know, he's been overshadowed with all the other signings that United have brought in. But since he signed for United in January, what has he done? He hasn't made a name for himself, and he's got to really up his game as well.
It's a very, very hard job Van Gaal has. So let's see if he lives up to his, his proclaimed name and sorts it out. I mean, I know Fergie would strive at the opportunity to have these players and this problem. To have, well, I think it's like if you're speaking at a managerial perspective, it's really good to have an option when it comes to your squad. I mean, you all don't want our squads to be limited. I mean, in terms of positions, but I don't like the fact that he's just bought like three. Well, apparently people are saying that we've bought like 3 left backs or some shit. People are saying, apparently Blint is a left back, and
well, I don't think it's that really. I just think a lot of these players are left footers, and you know, Blind played a left back in the World Cup. Rojo played a left back in the World Cup, and then of course you got Luke Shaw, who everyone seems to have forgotten about now. How are all these players going to be accommodated? I think the likes of Rojo will be used as a left-sided centre back. That could work for him because he has played at centre back for Sporting. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he works. And then Shaw, is he going to play as the left wing back?
I don't see him as that though.
No, neither do I. He's more of a defensive than attacking player. But you know, Van Gaal really is. A lot of the problem is United have an excellent team on paper, but that's on paper, and you're asking a lot of these players to come into a whole new system and formation that could potentially take months or even years to adapt, because none of these players are used to playing it, especially the youth players. But I mean, in my opinion, this is what must have happened when Van Gaal signed for United. He must have said, "Look, I'll come in here, but don't expect me to get you into the top 4 or whatever in a year, because I haven't got the best of squads at my disposal, and I've got to get the philosophy into these players, and I've got to get the trust of the fans." I mean, I think with the investment United have made, I think they should quite comfortably get in the top 4. But it could take a while, just simply because of this whole new philosophy that Van Gaal is trying to drum into his team.
Yeah.
And I just to chime in on a bit, I just think United fans really have to be careful in the sense of, obviously you bought so many fantastic players, Falcao, Di Maria, etc., but to get an instant reply, I wouldn't expect that. Yeah, there might be a few more poor games. I don't see them going down as losses. I can't remember who you guys played next exactly. But
the thing is, a player like Falcao is going to get a goal on his own. I mean, he's not going to need other players to be making assists for him. If you look at what he's done, he could run the length of the pitch and then score some absolute crazy goal from 30 yards out. He will get you, if he stays fit, at least 20 goals this season, if not 25, 30, because I rate the guy so highly. I'm really jealous that he's going to Man U, in all honesty. But the thing is with United, they've got all this money, and they're having to throw around silly money because they need the fans on Van Gaal's side. I mean, this might not have been a Van Gaal buy. It might have been someone like Ed Woodward trying to get the fans backing, which obviously it's done. But United are realistically probably the only team, apart from maybe Real Madrid, that can afford his wages. And the money they're paying, one alone on that, and that's on 4 players. It's not really, it's pennies to them really, because they've got so much money from commercial deals. They're going to be thinking, so what? We can afford it. Why not go for it? And Falcao going to be quality. I don't think United will struggle for goals at all. I just think it's going to be hard, especially with that defence. And you're going to have to be relying on players like Falcao. You need your big names to step up now. It is going to be really hard trying to accommodate all these players into one team and then trying to have a stable back line, because that's where United have been so open. If you look at the space, especially in the pockets on the wings, they've been incredibly open there, and that's kind of where majority of their problems have been.
Yeah. Anyways, gonna wrap it up there. It's been a great chat. I didn't think it'd go as long as it did, but the more the merrier. The better the discussion, the better the show. Anyways, we're gonna be back at around probably 9:15, 9:30. So keep an eye on that. We've 1 or 2 guests scheduled for that. Thanks so much to Paris. Go check him out at FIFA Monster on Twitter. You can find him at YouTube. And yeah, we'll obviously try to get him on again. And obviously, thank you to Cookie. Today has been one hell of a day trying to get this organized, but we're finally here, guys. Anyways, peace out.
Peace out.